Social media and the impact that it has on the game now, you obviously didn't have that when you guys were playing, but is social media, is it going to put more pressure on Luka? He's got millions of followers here. So does that play a role at all, or are you aware of that as a head coach?
Well, I'm aware just from the standpoint that, I know he has 3 million Instagram followers. And I know that his followers, love watching him. They love watching highlights. They love watching step-back threes. And, all that said, you do the math and you do the calculation, it creates a lot of demand for him to generate highlights and to do those kinds of things. Fortunately for us, he doesn't have to go out of the norm very much. I mean, he just kind of plays that kind of game anyway. But it is a different world now. Everything happens, really in real time. If we pretend that that's not how the world's working, we're fooling ourselves. And so this all factors into the equation for today's young players. And I'm always adapting to the changing environment in the world of basketball. You always, as a coach, you always try to stay ahead of it as much as you can. But sometimes you simply got to absorb and adapt. And it's such a different world now, but it's very, very exciting because the game has never been more exciting, and we've got some young players that are just, so dynamic, obviously Doncic included.
I used to say this about Brett Favre. It felt like he needed degree of difficulty. Like, sometimes the game comes to you a little too easy. And I wonder about with Doncic if it comes too easy and then you get bored to a certain degree, and you want to try new things there. Do you caution him with that, or is that something that I'm sort of pulling out of the sky?
No, it's a factor, and this was something that happened with Bird, on the floor. He just, and look, our Boston teams when I was on the team and during the 85, 86, 87. They were dominant teams. They were 60-plus win teams. There were a lot of nights where you were just simply going to win the game because you had more talent and you had guys that were really geared toward winning. And Larry would go into a creative mode a lot of times just because he did get a little bored. And it's something that happens with great players. I mean. And it's something that happens with Luka, and I have talked to him about it. I acknowledge it, and I also acknowledge that he is an artist on the floor. He is a performer on the floor, and the thing that I'm always reminding him is that he is an artist, but he's paid to win. And he is paid to entertain, but ultimately, winning is the most important thing. But as a 20-year-old guy, he understands that. He really does. And his moods, like Larry Bird's, like Jason Kidd's, are far more influenced by winning and losing than anything else. And that's a really exciting fact.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune into Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV. Stream for free on BR Live or download the Dan Patrick Show app.